You've been lied to about discipline. They told you it's about willpower, about grinding your teeth and forcing yourself through pain every single day, about waking up motivated and pushing through when you're not. That's not discipline, that's torture, and torture doesn't last. Real discipline isn't a battle you fight every morning. It's a system you build once and follow forever. It's not about being stronger than your excuses. It's about making excuses irrelevant. I am Thomas Shelby, and today I'll teach you how to master discipline in 3 steps. Not 30 steps, not a complicated system you'll forget by next week. 3 steps that will transform how you operate for the rest of your life. Follow these, and discipline stops being something you struggle with. It becomes something you are. Listen carefully. This is simpler than you think, and that's exactly why it works. Before I give you the steps, let me explain why everything else has failed. You've tried to change before. You've set goals, made commitments, started strong. And then, somewhere between day 3 and day 30, you collapsed. The motivation faded, the excuses crept back, life happened, and your discipline vanished like smoke. You blamed yourself. You thought you were weak. You thought some men have discipline and some don't, and you're just not one of the lucky ones. That's wrong. You failed because you were using the wrong approach. You were relying on motivation, a feeling that comes and goes like weather. You were relying on willpower, a resource that depletes every time you use it. You were fighting yourself every single day, and eventually you ran out of fight. That's not a character flaw, that's a strategy flaw. Discipline isn't about fighting harder, it's about fighting smarter. It's about building a structure where the right choice becomes the easy choice, where you don't need motivation because the system carries you. That's what these 3 steps create. A machine that runs whether you feel like it or not. A structure that removes the daily battle and replaces it with automatic execution. No more relying on how you feel when you wake up. No more hoping today will be different. Just a system that works. Let me show you how. The first step is the most brutal and the most important. Burn the options. Your biggest enemy isn't laziness. It isn't lack of motivation. It's choice. Every morning, you wake up with options. You can train or you can skip. You can eat clean or you can cheat. You can work on your goals or you can scroll through your phone. And every option requires a decision. Every decision drains energy. Every drain weakens your resolve. By the time you've made 20 small decisions before noon, your willpower is empty, and that's when the excuses win. The solution isn't to make better decisions, it's to eliminate decisions entirely. Here's how I operate. I don't decide whether to wake early. I wake at the same time every day. There's no debate, no negotiation, no maybe just 5 more minutes. The alarm sounds, and I rise, not because I'm more disciplined than you, because I've removed the option of staying in bed. I don't decide whether to train. Training is scheduled. It happens at the same time, in the same place, in the same way. When that hour arrives, I'm not asking myself if I feel like it. I'm already moving, because the decision was made long ago. I don't decide what to eat. My meals are planned, not every bite for the rest of my life. But the structure is set. I know what I'm eating today, tomorrow, this week. When hunger comes, I don't stand in front of options trying to choose. The choice is already made. This is what burning options means. You take the things that matter, your health, your work, your growth, and you remove them from the realm of daily decision. You decide once, and then you execute forever. No more asking, should I? Every morning. The answer is already yes. The only question left is how. Look at your life. Where are you wasting energy on repeated decisions? Where do you negotiate with yourself daily about things you've already committed to? Those are the leaks. Plug them. Decide once. Execute always. Burn every other option to the ground. The second step is about environment. Your surroundings are either working for you or against you. There's no neutral. Every object in your space, every default on your phone, every arrangement in your home, it's either pulling you toward discipline or pushing you away from it. Right now, your environment is probably designed for failure. The phone sits next to your bed, ready to steal your first hour. The junk food sits in the kitchen, waiting for a moment of weakness. The television faces the couch, inviting you to collapse. The gym clothes are buried in a drawer, requiring effort just to find them. These aren't accidents, they're friction, and friction determines behavior. Here's the law. Humans follow the path of least resistance, always. Whatever is easiest to do is what gets done, not what's best, what's easiest. So make the right things easy, and make the wrong things hard. I lay out my training clothes the night before. When I wake, they're the first thing I see. Getting dressed to train is easier than finding something else to wear. The path of least resistance leads to the gym. I don't keep poison in my house. No junk food, no easy temptations. If I want something bad for me, I'd have to leave, drive somewhere, buy it, bring it back. That's friction, and usually it's enough friction to stop me. I keep books visible, on my desk, on my nightstand, in the places where I might otherwise reach for my phone. When I'm bored, the easiest thing to grab is something that sharpens me, not something that dulls me. This is environmental design. You're not relying on willpower to resist temptation. You're removing the temptation entirely. You're engineering your space so that discipline is the default, not the exception. Walk through your environment with new eyes. What's pulling you toward weakness? Remove it. What could pull you toward strength? Make it visible. Make it obvious. Make it the easiest option available. If you want to read more, put the book on your pillow. If you want to train more, sleep in your gym clothes. If you want to eat better, clear your kitchen of everything that doesn't serve you. Stop fighting your environment. Redesign it. The man who shapes his surroundings shapes his behavior, and behavior, repeated, becomes identity. The third step is about momentum. There's a method I use that's simpler than anything you've tried, and more powerful than all of it combined. I call it protecting the chain. Here's how it works. Every day you execute your discipline, you add a link to a chain. Day 1, 1 link. Day 2, 2 links. Day 10, 10 links. Your only job is to not break the chain. That's it. That's the entire system. You don't worry about being perfect. You don't worry about results. You don't measure performance or optimize outcomes. You just ask one question every night. Did I add a link today? If yes, the chain grows. If no, the chain breaks. And breaking the chain becomes the thing you fear most. Here's why this works. Humans are loss averse. We feel losses more intensely than gains. The pain of losing something is stronger than the pleasure of gaining something equivalent. When your chain is at day 5, the thought of breaking it, of going back to 0, creates pain, real pain. You don't want to lose those 5 links. You don't want to start over. By day 20, that pain is intense. By day 50, it's almost unbearable. The chain has become something valuable, something you've invested in, and the idea of destroying it with one weak decision keeps you moving forward. This is what I use every day. Not motivation, not inspiration, the simple, brutal commitment to protecting what I've built. Because here's what I know. 1 break leads to 2. 2 leads to a week leads to, I'll start again Monday. And Monday never comes. But if If you protect the chain, if you refuse to let a single day break what you've built, the momentum becomes unstoppable. You stop needing discipline. The chain demands it for you. Get something to track this. A calendar you mark, an app that counts, a notebook where you check each day. Make the chain visible, watch it grow, and let the fear of breaking it drive you forward when nothing else will. Let me show you how this becomes a system. You wake up. There's no decision to make about whether you'll train. You burned that option. You decided weeks ago that you train every morning. It's not a question. You look over, and your gym clothes are already laid out. You made it obvious. The path of least resistance is putting them on and moving, so you do. You finish the training, and you mark your calendar. You protect the chain. 23 days unbroken, 24 now. The thought of seeing that chain snap tomorrow keeps you ready to do it again. No motivation required, no willpower depleted, just a system that carries you from one disciplined day to the next. This is how discipline becomes effortless. Not because it stops being hard. Training is still hard, eating right is still hard, doing the work is still hard. But the decision to do those things, that becomes automatic. That becomes who you are. And once discipline is identity, you don't struggle with it anymore. You just live it. That's the difference between the men who grind forever and the men who seem to move through discipline with ease. It's not that the disciplined men are stronger. It's that they've built better systems. Now you have the same systems. Use them. Let me tell you what discipline really is. It's not a war against the world. It's a war against yourself. Against the part of you that wants comfort over growth. Against the part that chooses easy over necessary. Against the part that whispers, just this once, knowing it's never just once. That part of you will never disappear. It's not a demon you slay. It's a voice you learn to ignore. And these 3 steps, they're how you weaken that voice until it becomes background noise. When you burn the options, the voice has nothing to negotiate with. There's no debate to be had, no alternative to offer. The decision is made. When you make it obvious, the voice can't find leverage. The temptations it usually points to aren't there. The friction it counted on is gone. When you protect the chain, the voice faces a new enemy. Your fear of loss, and that fear is stronger than any whisper of comfort. This is strategic warfare. You don't fight the voice directly. You build systems that make it irrelevant. And over time, something shifts. The voice gets quieter, the systems get stronger. The discipline that once required everything from you starts requiring nothing. Because you're not doing discipline anymore. You are discipline. I know what you're thinking. I'll start this Monday. I'll begin next month. I need to prepare first. No, you don't. Every day you delay is a day the old patterns strengthen. Every tomorrow is a lie you tell yourself to avoid discomfort today. The man who waits for the right moment never finds it, because there is no right moment. There's only now. So start now. Today, before you sleep, decide on one discipline you will not negotiate. One thing that is no longer optional. Burn the option. Write it down. Tell yourself, this is decided. Today, change one thing in your environment. Remove one temptation. Place one cue that pulls you towards strength. Make it obvious. Make the right choice easier than the wrong one. Today, start your chain. Mark day 1. Just one link. Small, unimpressive, but real. And tomorrow, protect it. That's all it takes to begin. 3 small actions that take less than 30 minutes combined. But those 30 minutes can change the trajectory of your entire life. If you keep waiting, you'll keep failing. The perfect conditions never arrive. The motivation never sustains. The willpower never lasts. But the system works regardless. Build it today. Run it forever. Now you have the 3 steps. Burn the options. Decide once. Execute always. Remove the daily negotiation. Make it obvious. Design your environment so discipline is the easiest path, not the hardest. Protect the chain. Build momentum so powerful that breaking it becomes unthinkable. 3 steps. Simple enough to remember, powerful enough to transform everything. The question is whether you'll use them. Not understand them, use them. Starting today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. If someone you know is stuck in the cycle, starting strong, fading fast, blaming themselves for weakness that's actually just bad strategy, send them this. Share it with a friend who needs a system, not another speech about trying harder. Because discipline isn't about trying harder, it's about building smarter. And the man who builds the right system becomes unstoppable. Not because he's special, because he stopped fighting himself and started engineering his success. That's mastery. And now it's yours.